fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Hello, Salt Strong Nation. It's Joe Simons. Like diamonds. We are back. This is going to be a fun one. Before we get into this, I'm going to read this headline. It's over here on my other screen, and this was on Inside Edition. Bringing peace to children with cancer, one fish at a time. And the young man that is doing this kind of blew me away. Honestly, I thought he was going to be in his like 18 to 21 range. And I was shocked to see how young he was and how ambitious he is and just the amazing things that he and his family are doing. Going to bring him on in just a second. But first, I have to mention, because we're getting down to the very end of it, a free fishing trip with yours truly and my brother Luke, the Salt Strong Bros. We put it out there for the entire month of September. So assuming you're still listening to this in the month of September 2019, because I know people do download this stuff way afterwards as well. But if you're still listening, in the month of September 2019, we have a free fishing trip opportunity. The best news is it is completely free to enter. All you have to do is go to iTunes. This is a way to help us get more amazing guests like Jake and his mom, Toni, and all the other guests that we've had. It's a great way to just boost up this podcast in iTunes is reviews. So all we're asking is you go on iTunes, you leave us a review, preferably 5 stars, and then you take a screenshot of it, and then you email it to fish@saltstrong.com. And then we will automatically enter you in. We will be picking a winner in the very first week of October. And this will be a trip for two, like I'm talking about an awesome trip, not just like going to wet a line for a couple hours. We're going to go like rent a house on an island and really do it up for a weekend around your time frame. It is going to be really awesome. And right now, I think there's only like 300 and some people in there. So your chances are like sky high. This is not like trying to win the lottery. You have a really good chance of winning. And Jake, I hope you and your mom enter as well if you haven't already. So without further ado, Mr. Jake Angling. Make sure I got it right. anglingforrelief.org. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hello, I am Jake Klopfenstein, like Frankenstein.
Dude, I did not expect that. That was awesome. Well played. So, Jake,
thank you.
Jake, how old are you?
I'm 13.
Man, and when did all this start? Was it just a year ago? Were you 12?
Yeah, well, we started the organization when I was 12, but I mean, the idea started like when I was a lot younger, when I was in like first grade.
All right, well, we're going to get all into that. Just to give you guys the backstory, I get a lot of cool emails, and I try to reply to all of them. There was one that got my attention recently, and it was from one of our Insider members, John. And I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to say Frankenstein because that's why I didn't introduce you by your last name, because I would have butchered it. And so John sends me an email, and he's talking about the cool things his son's doing. I don't know John. I don't know his age. I just know he's an Insider member. I assume the son is like, once again, in his 18 to 20-something range. I watched this video. He's either on Fox or ABC or the Inside Edition one. And I was like, wow, this is like a really young man, like doing some really amazing things to get kids and their families and their siblings out fishing. And I was just blown away. So I immediately replied, and I was like, all right, I got to get Jake on the podcast. And I talked to you, Toni, and I was like, all right, I'm in love with this whole story. This is so awesome. More people need to hear about this, get inspired by it, and help with it. So I want to pivot over to you, Toni, real quick. Did you grow up fishing? Like how did all this start? How do you get a 12-year-old who's that passionate about it and wants to take other kids out fishing? I'd love to hear kind of the backstory.
Well, it's not real exciting, Joe. I got to tell you, I did not like fishing at all. It's just been kind of forced upon me, and now I do enjoy it. But it was something that Jake has just been so passionate about, not only just fishing, but also wanting to help pediatric cancer patients. So that's really how it got started with me. I do love to be out on the water, and I love being with my family and my husband. I have an older son, Cole, who's 15, and then Jake. I'm outnumbered here, so we typically do what they like to do. And it just happened to be fishing. So we do spend a lot of time fishing together as a family. And I'm growing to love it, mostly because I'm seeing what it has done for so many people.
Yeah, you guys are certainly making an impact through fishing. So I'm still a little curious. So when did your boys start getting into fishing? When do you remember, like, what age they were like, all right, Mom, Dad, I really want to start doing this?
My husband, John had them fishing. We used to live in West Chase on a pond. So they were fishing probably before they can even stand up, sitting down on the grass, holding the pole in their hands. So it was something. My husband has been into fishing for quite some time, since he was a child as well. He would tell stories about his mom, walking him to the creek or the river. We grew up, my husband and I, in Ohio. So no saltwater fishing. But certainly the love for fishing for him started back when he was a child, and his mom walking him to the creek and the rivers to do some fishing.
I love it. And so then let's fast forward. Jake, you love fishing. You have a friend, and so this is what, 7th or so grade, 6th, 7th grade. When this,
yeah, my friend was in, I think, 6th or 5th grade.
Okay, and his name was Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan.
Okay, so tell us the backstory on that.
So he was always like, he wasn't having fun with any of the kids, and he was always in the homework. He had Ewing sarcoma, a form of bone cancer, and so he was never at school having fun with all the kids, and he couldn't And I was like, Mom, he can't even go fishing or anything. He's just bored out of his mind. And so I think we all know you can only play too many video games, and obviously you can't build puzzles for that long. I think we all know that. But you can, at least for me, I can fish forever and not get bored.
So had this young man, Ryan, had he ever been fishing before?
Yeah, he had been fishing a couple times. I think he liked it.
I think part of the story that needs to be told is Ryan Baker was in 6th grade at the time that Jake met him, and Jake was in kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so he was just a really nice kid to Jake. Jake coming into kindergarten, brand new school, brand new surroundings, and Ryan was one of the older boys that just really made Jake feel comfortable and that he belonged, and just really showed him a lot of kindness.
And did he have cancer at this point?
Soon after that, probably 6, 7 months. After that, then they learned that he had cancer, and that's when Jake started realizing and saying to me, Mom, Ryan's not at school, and he wouldn't be at some of the after-school family activities that we would go to. And Ryan, unfortunately, passed 18 months later. And so Jake at that time would have been in 2nd grade. And from 2nd grade on until 2 years ago, Jake would continually bring Ryan up and how he felt so bad that Ryan went through what he did, and that the last 18 months to 2 years of his life was not even really living like a child, but being stuck in the hospital and stuck at home. And after hearing Jake talk about that for a couple of years, I said, Jake, you need to just do something about it. Jake would say, there are kids, Mom, that continue to go through this. And I said, there are, Jake, and you need to do something about it. Figure out a way to help versus just feeling bad about it. Mm.
And so what did you do? Did you start going to I'm just trying to think of, put myself in Jake's shoes. You got a really young person here. That's a big pill to swallow. What do you do?
Yeah, so Jake, I told him, I said, you need to come up with some ideas to bring fishing to them, knowing that they can't leave the hospital or the home often. So I'll let Jake tell you about the solution he came up to for bringing fishing to them while they're in the hospital and at home.
Okay, so when they're like stuck in the hospital and home, like I said earlier, you can only play too many video games and build too many Legos, so they're like constantly bored and stuff. So I decided to somehow bring the fishing to them, and we decided that we were going to make these things called dry fishing kits. So we have a Plano box, like a little Plano tackle box, and we have casting weights in there, paracord, line clippers, and some stickers. We have these like line tying the rigging kits.
And the paracord is for tying knots, I presume?
Yes, because it's hard to learn tying knots on just like normal fluorocarbon leader or braid because it's just so small and hard to work with. So they like tie knots on with the paracord until they like get used to it.
Yeah, and I have to imagine a lot of these kids, if they're in their hospital, they have IVs in their fingers and hands, and it's probably painful to be gripping small things like braided line and things like that.
Yeah, and on the back of the tackle box, like when you close the tackle box and lean it up against the wall, there's a little bullseye on the back. So we also give him like a 2-foot Zebco Dock Demon rod with a bobber on the end, so they can't like hurt anything. And they'll just cast at the target. And we even give them like hula hoops or like glow sticks so they can like put them together. And then once they start like casting, it's like, so we're like, I say like, oh, the fish is right here. So you need to cast like just around it so we'll eat it. And it's just like a more lifelike scenario.
And are these, I'm envisioning, are they doing this in their hospital room too?
Yeah, we've had kids like we were like babysitting someone basically, and she was casting while she was getting chemo.
Wow, I
and
love
we
it.
We also have YouTube videos, so we have like to tie the knots. We show them like how to tie different knots, and we have videos showing them how to cast different ways, how to cast a big caster, overhead cast, sideways cast, and stuff like that.
I love it. So you're basically teaching kids with cancer how to fish, even while they're in the hospital room, even while they're getting chemotherapy done.
Literally from their hospital bed.
Wow. I love it. That's so brilliant. And you came up with this? What do you call it, a dry fishing kit?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was Mom and I.
Yeah, I had a gentleman call me from New York, and he wants to do a similar thing. And he said, I can probably just go to Bass Pro and get one of those dry fishing kits, right? Well, you can get all the materials separately and make your own. But yeah, that was something that Jake came up with.
And so I'm curious, was there anyone else doing what you guys are doing? We're going to talk about the specifics, but was there anyone doing anything even like this yet, where you're going to visit some of these young kids with cancer in the hospital and tying in fishing in any way with these, dry fishing kits? I've never heard of it. I think it's brilliant.
No, actually there wasn't, Joe. And that was initially what we were looking for. I was calling organizations. I was on the internet constantly trying to find an organization that Jake could get involved in to help do this. And that's what I talked to my husband and Jake and, a couple of friends and said, I can't believe there's nothing in the Tampa Bay area that's already doing this. We need to bring these to these kids. And I even tried to get a couple of organizations to kind of take us on under their wing and do it through them. And nobody really seemed interested, or it didn't really fit their mission. So we just decided to do it ourselves.
And so you guys went and did the full thing. You got a 501c3?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I know that's not easy either, to do it all the right way and get board of directors and all that stuff that goes with that, all the paperwork.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. But Joe, I got to tell you, I have been really just so surprised and so happy the number of people that stepped up to say, we will help you at no charge. Several attorneys were donating their time to us just to give us some advice and guide us. And other folks who run 501c3s that said, well, we'll help you do this. We'll let you know what we did, how we did it, and what we think you all should do.
That's great.
Really helpful.
All right, so I'm going to read a sentence from your website, which is anglingforrelief.org, and it says, the length of treatment for childhood cancer ranges from 3 months to 5 years. That's over 1,278 missed days to learn, explore, and play. It gives me goosebumps saying it when I read it. I was like, and I've got 3 young kids, and watching some of the videos and seeing these young kids' faces without any hair and going through chemo, it strikes a chord, I think, with any parent. And then when you put it into numbers like that, 1,278 missed days to go out there and be a kid, right? To be curious, to go dig in the dirt, to go fishing. And you guys are basically replacing some of that with something that is fun, right? You're taking some of those pretty mundane and probably painful and probably anxiety-ridden days that are in a hospital and getting shots and dealing with nurses and doctors and just getting them outside, forgetting about all the other stuff in their life and just putting a smile on their face. So tell me about the very first event. How did you guys market it? How did you get people to show up? Because I have to imagine that might have been different too, especially if now you guys have got a few under your belt. But the first time you're like, oh yeah, we're going to take these kids out of the hospital that have chemo and take them fishing. Was that an easy thing or was it tough? And tell me, I'm really anxious about the very first one.
Yeah, so I'm going to take this one, Jake, if you don't mind. So we call those, we have the dry fishing program that Jake explained while the children are in the home and in the hospital. Then our second program that you're talking about is our Fishing is Relief events. And those are the events that we take the families out to a pond or a lake or a pier so that they can fish from land. And yeah, we were thinking the same thing, Joe. How are we going to start getting out into the community and letting people know what we have to offer? And even more importantly, how are we going to be able to afford to do all of this? And the first call I made was to the One Voice Foundation. Marianne, she is the director, the founder and director, and she has an absolutely amazing story. I gave her a phone call because I heard so much about her and the families in the pediatric cancer world. And she connected us with her entire database of pediatric cancer patients. So we were able to start reaching them for dry fishing program as well as the Fishing is Relief events through Marianne and the One Voice Foundation.
That's so cool. And this is primarily in Tampa, Hillsborough County area. Is that correct? St. Pete?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we've had families come all the way from Sebring, Lake Mary, lots of different places. And one of our goals eventually is to be able to host these events other places. But for now, we're hosting the events in the Tampa Bay area.
Cool. And tell me what happens at the events. Is it a couple hours? And it sounds like the whole family's included?
It is. It's the entire family. And I'm going to let Jake tell you a little more about it.
So we take the whole family out, and we take them out with a volunteer, a really experienced volunteer, so they can learn how to maybe perfect their knots, learn how to rig up the shrimp, learn how to properly fight a fish, and basically just put the skills that they learned from the dry fishing kit to the test.
That is so cool. And
yeah, we have.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, Joe, that we have the angler volunteers who are absolutely amazing. We couldn't do it without them. That come out and dedicate their time. We usually start about 9 a.m. and finish off with lunch at noon, which we've been just so blessed with generous donations. Jersey Mike provides lunches for us, for the entire family and all the volunteers. Gil provides all the SPF 50 long sleeve shirts and hats to protect the kids, which is extremely important. And we've had other sponsors, Alafaya Marine, who has provided all of our fishing poles so far, and Catalina Marketing, that is also a sponsor that gives us the additional funding to finish out the supplies that we don't yet have. And Sailor Mike's provides the bait for us. So we're able to give all of that to the parents and the kids so that all the parents have to do is show up. And in their world, they're so used to the parents just having to coordinate every minute of every day, making sure they have everything they need to try and keep their child safe. And it's really nice to watch them be able to just sit back and watch us work with the children and us provide everything for the children. And they can just sit back and enjoy it and watch their children having a good time.
Are you finding that these kids have caught fish before, or for a lot of them, it's their first time?
So at pretty much every event, the kids have all like crushed it with the fish. And usually it's just been like schooling fish. Like we had tilapia at the first event and blue runners at the second event. Prior to that, though, many of the children have caught their very first fish with us.
Okay.
And there's one little girl. She's a sibling of a cancer patient that her parents say that she's 5 years old, caught her very first fish at the Sunshine Skyway Pier with us last April. And she won't stop talking about it. And all she wants to do is fish now.
Now you guys got to do more events.
It's important.
Yeah, keep going, Jake.
And it's important to take like the other kids out because it seems like they're almost forgotten. Like we've done a lot of interviews with other people, and at first we were just focused on just the kids
that have cancer,
just the kids that have cancer. But then they were talking about how like the siblings were like almost forgotten. So we take them out, and sometimes I'll work with like the cancer patient and their like brother or sister, and sometimes they'll just be like just treated exactly like we treat all the other kids, and so they like actually feel like they're the number one priority when usually they probably don't feel like they really are.
I love that. What was that movie? What was that movie with Julia Roberts that came out not too long ago where the boy had did you guys see that one?
Jake's shaking his head. He doesn't even know who Julia Roberts is.
I've heard the name, but I don't know. I have no clue who Julia Roberts is.
I'll think of it, but it was very similar, where the boy had a disability and literally took all the attention. And even though the daughter was very pretty and a normal girl, she felt left out and like wasn't part of the family. And it was all based on a true story. So it reminded me of that. So that's awesome that you guys thought of that and heard that kind of feedback to include everyone. It's something that most people probably would never think about. So we'll have to send you an old picture of Julia Roberts, Jake.
You'll Google it.
Yeah, that's right. This day they can just Google it. That's so cool. So how many of these events are you guys trying to do now per year? The real one, meaning the fishing is relief, not the dry fishing kits.
So we try to do 4 events every year, and like during the hot months, I just go to like we were talking about Marianne and the One Voice things. I go and just practice the dry fishing with them. I give them like the little pole, the little Zebco dock demon, and we just cast for an hour, 2 hours, and it's just amazing. But we try to do 4 of the big fishing is relief events every year.
Yeah, when it's cooler.
Yeah, I could only imagine trying to take some of these young kids who are pretty frail and weak from chemo and stuff out in the middle of the hot Florida sun. That's so cool. So I love this. I love the fact that, you're essentially preparing and teaching, these pediatric cancer patients how to fish, right? Not on the water, like in their hospital rooms, and showing them YouTube videos, a lot of the same stuff that, that we're doing and we're so passionate about, which is why I love the story. And then you're taking them out on the water and actually showing them how to do it and creating some memories for their families. That is so cool.
Yeah, and Joe, the volunteers are so important in that. I mean, of course, the sponsors are, because we couldn't do it without their funding. But the volunteers are just so wonderful with these kids. I've just fallen in love with the fishing community. They just are a very generous group of people and very caring. And just to see them with the kids and just do anything the kids ask them to do, it's really been a great experience.
And so how many kids are like, when's the next one? October?
October 19th is our next event. We currently have 24 children signed up.
Wow. And so do you try to get that many volunteers too? Like a kind of a expert or a guide with each kid or family?
Yes. So that's the idea, to have one expert angler per child.
God, it's so cool. And are you guys going to go Skyway again or what?
This one's going to be at E.G. Simmons Park.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But we try to I think we're going to do 2 events at the Skyway and then 2 like other events at different places.
And how?
We try to kind of.
Yeah, go for it. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, we just try to kind of move it around so that maybe we can reach different families, but also just to make it kind of more interesting for the kids, because we do have some kids that have been at every event.
I can't blame them. That means you guys are doing a good job.
Thank you.
and
also like,
yep, keep going.
Changing up the like environment, like teaches them like new stuff. Like for bass, we're teaching them like go where the like grass and structure is, and then like on the bridge, they know what fishes are at the bridge and what fish are at in the flats and the mangroves, and they just know like what species to target and in which area they're going to be.
I love it. You guys are going to have all around amazing little anglers here. Is there a certain age that you're finding these kids that are coming, like on average?
Most of the kids are like really young, like 4 to 10 maybe.
Okay.
I think it varies. We've had children as young as 3 actually, and we've had 19-year-olds. Yeah. So it really does vary. It seems like the kids who are younger, I think the parents are looking more for support and things for them to do. That's just been our experience so far, but we certainly have them just about every age.
And where are they in their journey with cancer?
So they're everywhere.
Well, yeah, we have some survivors, and some that are just in their treatment, some towards the end, in remission.
They're everywhere.
That's awesome. And I know you mentioned like the gentleman Ryan passed away. A lot of these kids, I assume, have some pretty severe cancer that maybe could be untreatable. Like, what are you guys seeing?
Yeah, I think so. We try to not like ask them. The general idea of the event is to like make them forget about their diagnosis and just be like surrounded by people that have the same thing as them. So they're not like, they don't feel like pressured, like, cause they don't have hair or they need to like take a break sometimes. And I think, it's really scary when you think about it, actually.
It is. We had the Sunshine Skyway event April 19, and met Dean Palmo for the first time. He was 18 at the time and had been battling rhabdosarcoma. I may have said that wrong, but had been battling that for, I think, at least 3 years. He left the event when we finished and told his mom he needed to go to the hospital because he was pretty certain that it had come back. And it did. And unfortunately, he passed away just 3 weeks ago. So that's really hard, and it's so sad. And we did get permission from his family that when we host in February at the Sunshine Skyway, that it will be in his memory.
Love it. So I want to go back to these dry fishing kits because I still have some questions on it because I think that is so cool. Are you guys having to buy this stuff yourself and like basically create these own kits now, or like I'm wondering if there's a way that people listening can either help out, or like if you have plans to scale it and put this in every hospital across the country. I just think it's such a cool idea.
Yeah, so we get like a lot of deals on the stuff, but yeah, we do have to pay for a lot of it ourselves. But the biggest thing, is the little Zebco dock demons, the 2-foot rods. Just because they're like so expensive, and I guess no one's really willing to.
Well, I don't think we've really started asking people to do that yet. We've asked some suppliers. So we haven't really gotten as far as being able to get a company to donate those. But TA Mahoney does have a box where they keep any donations for Angling for Relief that we pick up once, they have a few donations of like the small fishing poles, the Plano boxes. So we do have, and we're still, new. So that's one thing. If any listeners want to think if they have a way to help us out with that, to make that easier for us to get more of those supplies, we are all ears.
Sounds like if there's anyone listening from Zebco, this is time to step up. They need some dock demons.
You tell them, Joe.
Dock demons. I think that is so cool. I mean, so you mentioned earlier that you had a gentleman from New York call you about that. So, like, is there an opportunity there to maybe team up with Plano or Zebco, whoever wants to get behind it to do that? Like, is that part of the goal?
Yeah, just to get as many like boxes out to the kids. That's our number 2 goal. But like the number 1 goal is like just any way possible to bring the relief to the kids. And I've come over and given the kids a dry fishing kit, and they just want to they don't want to fish at that moment in time, but they just want to go to the playroom and mess around. And so we do that. And in the end, it's the same end goal. They're getting the relief, just not through fishing. But it doesn't really matter how they get the relief as long as they get the relief for it. Right. That's the biggest thing.
And with the dry fishing kits, we can ship those out. We're getting set up so that we can get a nice, easier process for assembling them and shipping them out, because not only the gentleman in New York, but we've had requests from all across the country to have these dry fishing kits shipped to families and organizations that want to distribute them themselves.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. And you're able to impact kids who might not be able to go, even if they wanted to that day or that week, they couldn't because of things going on with chemo, et cetera. So I think it's so cool. I mean, we're always constantly trying to think of ways that we can impact as many people as we can, through the internet, which is another way that people can still enjoy fishing and feel like they're part of fishing, if that makes sense, without actually having to be on the water. And when they do go on the water, they have more confidence, right? Which is really what you're helping build. I mean, you're helping build confidence with these young kids, and they go out there, they already know what, a rig should look like and what a knot is. And do you guys do like fish ID stuff too? Do they have an idea of what they're going to be catching beforehand?
Yeah. So we show them and I want to get a little thing so that they can tell what the fish is just by the color of the skin. But yeah, we do teach them when they reel the fish up, we'll tell them this is a blue runner, and then we'll show them a picture of a similar fish like a Jack Crevalle, and we'll just tell them yeah, so this is the bigger version of the blue runner, but we also have we have informational packets in the dry fishing kits, and we have a little identification and rigging and stuff on those.
Cool. And are you guys starting your own YouTube channel, or do you already have that? I didn't even look. Shame on me.
Yeah, so we do have a YouTube channel, Angling for Relief, and we just have videos of just simple stuff that they can learn for the dry fishing kits, and even when they're just doing the normal kits, or even when they're just doing the normal fishing at their house.
And Jake, are you doing the videos, Jake?
Yeah, I'm doing the videos, and I've teamed up with some people. I've teamed up with Ronnie Green doing some bait caster videos. Oh, and Tiger Hoffman, the president of South Shore Anglers.
Yep.
He helps us reach the fishing community, and he's helped us get with Gills, Alafaya Marine, and all that stuff. So we can go and so they can give us the stuff to make it possible to do all it. And he does a lot of the videos too. He helps me make them and says ideas, and just as an overall helper of the organization.
This is Tiger, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard many, many good things about him. That's awesome. So to me, the big $1 million question is what do you guys see fishing doing to these kids? I guess why fishing? I'm proud you picked fishing, but why not bowling? What do you see fishing doing? What's the thing that just puts that big smile on your face after an event is done, or after you see one of these young kids in a pediatric cancer center, all of a sudden gets one of your dry fishing kits and puts a big smile? What is it about fishing?
Well, it's really therapeutic and relaxing, and I bet everyone in this podcast agrees with me that you can go fishing for hours. At least me, I can go fishing forever until we stop catching fish, and then well, that's a different story. But fishing is just really therapeutic and relaxing, and it's there's a ton of videos on fishing, so they can just keep watching the videos and learn new things. And it's honestly the possibilities are endless just for learning and stuff. And just even if you're done fishing, if you're bored with casting, then they can go tie the knots, and then once they perfected the knot, they might want to go back fishing again. And so I just think that you can do that forever. And I also just have a really big passion for fishing, and just honestly can't do it without.
What do the parents say? I'm curious. What kind of feedback do you get from the parents of these kids? What does it mean to them?
The parents are definitely really appreciative of it, and it's just the event that parents can just sit back and just watch their kids for the first time and however long the kid has gotten diagnosed, and just relax, calm down. So it's really for everyone, pretty much.
I've had some families tell me that it is a really great bonding time for them, because they're not sitting in the waiting room waiting for therapy or treatment. They're not at home worried about counts and what the next step is. They're just out in nature. And, Florida's beautiful. It's just beautiful to look out at the water. It's so peaceful, and everybody learning a new skill together. And one of the things that we haven't talked about yet, but John and Jake said, you know what, we want the families to go home and be able to fish on their own so that they can find fishing relief in between our events. So John and Jake have made sure that they set the families up so that each family will take home their own tackle box, and based on where they live and what they think they may do, salt or freshwater fishing, they send them home with that type of tackle box. And the children all leave with their own fishing poles, which were given to us by Alafaya Marine, so they can all go do their own fishing after they leave the event as a family.
Well, that's great. That is great. So what next? How big do you guys think this can get? How big do you want it to get? I'm curious, Jake, is this something, you still have many years left, even to get through high school. I assume you're going to keep doing this. And what are your big goals and dreams as you get out of high school?
Well, we obviously want to reach a lot more families so everyone else can experience it and maybe like set up different branches in other areas. And it's really just all about the kids. So we don't necessarily need to get bigger, but our reach needs to get bigger, and we need to definitely get more people, and we need to make more like dry kits and just start branching out so everyone who has cancer eventually will get that relief or something close to it.
Cool. And is this something that you want to do for a career? There's no right or wrong answer there. What drives you? What do you think you're going to be doing down the road?
Well, I want to be a marine biologist, but definitely that'll be like my hobby, I guess you could say. I definitely want to keep it. I don't want to just go to college and drop it. I want to keep doing it because it's just a good thing, and it makes me happy. So
I love it. Mama, what are your thoughts? How is this going to look in 5 years from now?
You know, I hate to even venture to guess, Joe, because I was so wrong on what it would look like today. You know, a year later, I really had expected that we would probably have a close bond with maybe 4 or 5 children in the Tampa Bay area who had already had a passion for fishing, and it's gone way beyond that. So I hate to even venture to guess, but I'm really excited that to be a part of this, and so many people, just their support, your support. So I think we can do a lot with the fishing community's help and the others who have gotten involved. I think we're going to be able to reach a lot more families. So I'm excited to see.
Do you guys have any idea how many children or even teens that are dealing with cancer, just like in that Tampa, St. Pete area?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer. I know nationwide that 1 out of every 285 children will be diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
But I couldn't tell you. It really is a lot more children than we had anticipated that are impacted by cancer. It really is a lot. It's astonishing. And if you didn't know, Joe, this month, September, is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month.
I did not know that. I'm glad we decided to record and publish this in September.
I know, right? Great timing.
Love it. So let's talk about how everyone can help you guys. So it sounds like the next one I wrote down here, October 19th, because it's my birthday. So I'm not going to forget that. So that's your next big event. I'll have to maybe send you guys a little birthday gift to help out. So how can everyone help? I know you guys have a website. I assume I'll let you guys talk for if it's donations, time, volunteers, all the above.
So the biggest thing is to help raise awareness about Angling for Relief, and there's a few ways people can do that. So there's Facebook. You can share it and like it. I don't know much about Facebook, but that's all I know. And Instagram. Like we have an Instagram, so you can share that, DM to everyone, and use our hashtag on everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, whatever you want. And
MySpace. How do you know about MySpace? Where did that come from?
He's heard about it, right?
Yeah.
MySpace. So to cover that. I assume search for Angling for, and we'll put links in the blog post, but it's Angling for Relief is the Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, correct?
Yeah. And the hashtag is #FishingIsRelief.
Okay. Glad I had Fishing is Relief. Okay. Got it. Cool. And then on your website, I assume you take donations because ultimately you still, as a nonprofit, you need to have some donations and things like Zebco, rods and reels, and tackle boxes, etc.
Yeah. So another way to help is to volunteer. So that's pretty big. We need experienced volunteers, and even if there's too many volunteers, there can always be like 2 volunteers on one kid, just like talking, and definitely just more information spread. And the final way is to like donate. And so you can donate money, but we prefer supplies just because it's straight. We can put it right into action as soon as we get it. But you can donate through the Facebook and our website.
And like I said before, TA Mahoney's, they sell basically everything that we use. And if you purchase something and tell them you want it to go to Angling for Relief, they'll set it back in a box for us.
Oh, cool. Awesome. And your website is anglingforrelief.org, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. And how cool is it to be? Was it? I know Inside Edition was one. What was the other one that you were on?
I've been on Fox News.
Fox, yeah.
And the MSN like homepage thing.
How cool was that?
Jake was April's MSN local hero of the month. Their very first local hero of the month.
Oh, too cool.
Yeah. And he also just filmed with Ronnie Green a fishing story that will air on NBC Sports in October.
Oh, very cool. Ronnie's awesome.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Ronnie, if you're listening, I need to get you on the podcast. Return my latest email, Ronnie.
Ronnie didn't email you? Oh, wait till you talk to him. We can conference him in now. Let's get a hold of him. Yeah.
And Zebco, if you're listening, make sure to hook them up with some of these Doc Demons ASAP.
Yeah.
Guys.
You know what else? Joe, one more thing I wanted to add. For the dry fishing kit, if anybody has some fun things that they want to include for the kids, please send them our way. We had asked Salt Strong for some of their stickers to include in those tackle boxes, and anything else that somebody might have that they think would be fun for the kids while they're stuck in the hospital. We'd appreciate those donations.
And what's the best way to do that?
If they contact me on, Facebook, cell phone, email, whatever, I can give them the address, or we can come pick it up.
Okay, awesome. We'll put all that details in the show notes. Well, guys, really excited about what you're doing. Really proud of you. Really proud of you, Jake. What a just cool mission as a young kid. I think, as an adult now, seeing someone like you doing this, especially around fishing, it puts a big smile on my face. And I know a lot of our listeners are probably smiling right now as well, wishing we had more 8th graders. You're 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, more 8th graders like you doing amazing things like this, and can't wait to see where this goes and how it grows and how we can help be a part of it. So everyone, please go to all those social media accounts wherever you like to spend your time, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, or all three in a perfect world. And make sure to go subscribe and like and give them some love, Angling for Relief. And if you can, sign up for this upcoming event in October 19th. Do you guys have dates for the next ones after that?
We don't have those yet.
Okay.
Soon. We'll have them on our Facebook and website soon.
Okay, cool. Otherwise, October 19th, they will be there at E.G. Simmons Park with, it sounds like, a lot of kids and a lot of families and hopefully a lot of awesome volunteers. So, guys, keep up the amazing work and don't hesitate to reach out if we can help out in any way. Obviously, we'll have many stickers and stuff coming your way. And we talked about some other ideas offline that we want to try to help out with. So.
All right. Thank you. And remember, #fishing is relief on everything.
Oh, yeah, baby. And you got to do your sign off now, Jake. Say your name again like Frankenstein.
All right. It's Jake Klopfenstein like Frankenstein. Signing out. Everyone stay salt strong.
I love it. You guys rock. Chat soon.
Thanks, Joe. Bye.
Thank you.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul.